If Treyarch's not gonna give us a full week of Zombies content, then fine, I'll do it myself. Oh, well, now that's just bad timing. Anyway, hello and welcome to the start of my week-long coverage on BO7 Zombies, where every day I'll post one video about how I think Treyarch can improve something that I think was slightly mishandled in BO6, and then we'll see if whatever bit of marketing that Treyarch releases later in the day, just completely invalidates whatever I spent the last 10 or so minutes talking about. For our premiere episode, we're going to be talking about how Treyarch could revamp the armor system and make it something that is truly incredible. Anyway, our armor has always gotten a lot of shit for being a quote Warzone mechanic, and this seems to be what most people point to when they refer to the quote Warzoneification of Zombies, despite the fact that armor has been in COD Zombies since before Warzone was even a thing. And I think this is due to how the mechanic has been presented as of recent. In World War II, armor was literally just Geistcraft energy that would go over your body and help protect you from a fatal hit. It was something that was unique to the core of that Zombies mode. And while in BO4 it wasn't something you'd have permanently and visually was extremely similar to Blackout, the way you would gain armor was unique to Zombies, either being from drinking Stone Cold Stronghold, an elixir, or using your specialist weapon in BO4. Now compare that to Cold War, where you would get it somewhat uniquely by finding it from this Ivan fellow. However, it had the same model as it did in both that game's NP and Warzone, and mechanically would function the exact same as it did in those games as well. Instead of it being a special type of armor like it was in World War II and BO4, it's now just your standard Kevlar bulletproof vest. And then in MW3, it got even worse by having us need to manually replate, just like you have to do in Warzone, with the exact same animation as in Warzone. It's led to a lot of people begging for the old shield system to return, which is wild to me, because not only do I think the armor mechanic is actually mechanically better, as it allows Treyarch to do more unique and challenging gameplay decisions that would probably be considered unfair in your traditional 5-hit down game, but the shield mechanic was literally taken from BO2's MP as well. The transit shield is literally mechanically a copy and paste of BO2's riot shield. It wasn't until Shadows of Evil that the shield began to get unique traits to set it apart from the MP shield. And I think the reason everyone forgot about this is because of how the shield was presented in these old games. In Transit, the way you would acquire the shield was tied to the new buildable mechanic that was introduced in Transit, and the design of the shield was also unique of the map. Instead of it being the same sleek, futuristic shield that we saw in MP, it was made from a car door and duct tape. It looks like something you'd find in a fucking zombie apocalypse. In Mob of the Dead, it's a cell door with some barbed wire, and then flashing forward to BO3 and 4, in Grad Kobe, it's a literal fucking dragon shield. This all helped the shield and Zombies stand apart and made it feel unique to Zombies instead of it being just copy and pasted from Warzone or Blackout or fucking MP or whatever. And while I think it's probably unrealistic for us to have a completely unique armor design in every single Zombies map, I think we can redesign it enough to give it a more Zombies themed coat of paint, which I think would help a lot of people move past the Warzone criticism and start to see the amount of potential this mechanic itself has, and I think I know how Treyarch could pull this off. The way I would fix the personality and presentation of the armor is by first removing the whole Kevlar vest design in its entirety. This works fine in a game like MWZ, where you have actual bullets being fired at you by human enemies. But in Cold War, BO6, and so far from the looks of BO7, it's just unnecessary. Instead, let's replace this with something that fits the Dark Ether theming a lot more, with a pure Ethereum armor. Functionally, it worked the exact same as the Kevlar vest. When you have armor, you get a damage reduction from all incoming damage. However, the design would be something more similar to the energy shielding from Halo. The armor would be completely invisible during normal gameplay, but when your armor breaks, you will have this purple energy pulse from your body, indicating that, hey, you don't have armor anymore, dickhead. You should fix that. This all sounds all fine and dandy. However, I know what you're probably asking, how the fuck are we going to replay it with this new armor system, as that is a mechanic that it seems like Treyarch is wanting to keep? And if it was just the same old replating animation, then we kind of did all this work for no reason. Well, dear viewer, we're gonna fix it with some good old asset reuse, the classic Treyarch Zombies way. You remember those little balls of energy that you collect during the Tomb's main quest? No, because you didn't play the Tomb? I really can't blame you. However, this is what it looked like in the gameplay you're seeing right here. Well, you'd have a very similar animation with this, but instead of, you know, just putting the balls in your mouth or whatever you did in Zoom, I don't remember, I didn't play it, you'd actually just crush the Ethereum balls or shard of energy or whatever. That energy would replace and refill your Ethereum armor. The only change I would make to the actual gameplay functionality of armor is I'd remove you spawning in with it like you did in BO6. Instead, around the map, on your way to power, you'll find 3 parts that you need to collect to build the Ivan machine from Cold War, where he'll give you whatever device you use to create the Ethereum shield. And he'd give you for free tier 1 armor, however you'd have to buy tier 2 and 3 from him. The reason I do this is because I just fucking hate the way you start with armor in BO6. I feel like a big part of progression of the early rounds has been kind of gutted in these last couple years, and this is another example of that. And plus, I feel like having to build a shield similar to how you do in BO2 could help making each of the armors feel somewhat more unique, as you have a slightly different way of getting it each game. I mean, it's not the biggest drastic change, but yeah, it could help. I mean, it helped with BO2 a little bit. And you know what? Fuck it. While we're speaking of progression, let's also fix the loadout system, because that's just something we can do now. So you know this loadout thingy? A lot of people hate it. They feel like it cuts out the progression path, as I was just talking about. But just as much people love it due to not having to spend 30 minutes at the box trying to get a specific gun when you just want to play with the AUG. Well, here's what I do. In the main menu, before you load into a game of BO7, you'll be allowed to select a, quote, loadout weapon. However, when you spawn in, you'll have a gray TAC-45 pistol. Somewhere on each map, you'll find either the fridge from BO2 Zombies or the sniper cabinet from Noct, where when purchased, you'll be given a green rarity version of whatever gun you selected in your creator class menu. There we go, progression's back. It's basically a glorified weapon that you can pick in each map. Similar to Buried, everyone's happy, bada bing bada boom, progression's back. We should speedrun fixing one of the biggest issues in the entire world. I think I might actually be God. Yeah, I'm definitely the Zombies community version. I'm not even the zombie. I am just God now. Huh. Oh, cool. Anyway, tune in tomorrow as I fix the point system and, obviously more importantly, begin my ascension and start my Church of Cringe. See you guys then. Peace.
Move to the spot, I'm one of a few.